All right, so today is another review lesson, and I will look at the equations with you and the story problems because they are such an issue for people. And as you know, I started doing that other lesson the other day, remember? Um, so I will pretty much leave you on your own besides the story problems and the equations up top. I know story problems can be such a grief for people. Sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're hard. All right, so we're going to solve these equations. First of all, I see over here on the right, a plus 3 plus 3. I can totally do that. So I'm just going to do 7y over here first. And a plus 3 is what? To get 14. All right, at that point, I'm going to divide this by 7. Divide by 7. Y equals 2. And then now let's put it at the 2 in the problem in the replacement of y. 8 plus 3 plus 3. 7 times 2 is 14. And this side is 14. All right, that's going to be n divided by 6 equals 27 divided by 9. All right, I'm not going to do this side yet. I'm going to do the other side, which 27 divided by 9 is 3. Now I'm going to times it by 6. And then times this by 6. So easy now, isn't it? N equals 18. Let's see if it works. So I'm not going to write the n, I'm going to write the 18 over 6 equals 27 over 9. That equals 3 and that equals 3. X plus 6 equals 5 times 8. Soon I'm going to let you guys on your own on these, but I'm still feeling like the more I help you, the more familiar you'll get with them. So 5 times 8 was 40. If I have a plus 6, let's do a minus 6 to get rid of it. Keep that equal signs going down the middle. Because I've kept it equal because I added a 6 on this side, and a negative 6 on this side and a negative 6 on this side. So as long as you do one and the other, the side should stay equal. This is left with x because these are gone. This is 34. So does 34 plus 6 equal 5 times 8? That should be a dot. And this is 40. And this is 40. So yes. All right, y minus 9 equals 108 over 12. 12 times what is 108? 9. All right, so plus 9, plus 9. So now I'm left with y equals 18. So does 18 minus 9 equal 108 over 12? Well, this is 9 and this is 9. So we're good to go. All right, let's look at our story problems. Actually, I'm only going to do A, B, C, and D and A, B, C, D because E, F, G, H are the extra bonus ones that I know with my kids. I give them extra credit if they do it. When a sum of money is divided equally among 5 persons, each person receives $12.75. If the money was divided equally among 3 persons, how much money would each person receive? Well, first of all, we better figure out how much money it is. And that's kind of easy because in the first problem, we see that each person is getting $12.50, 75 cents, right? And we got 5 people getting it. So let's just take that $12.75 and we'll multiply it by the 5 people who get it to find out the total money to be divided up. I get $63.75. Is that what you get? Okay, so now let's just divide it up among 3 people to see how much those people would get. Now obviously they're going to get more because there's less people, right? So we can kind of check our answer to see if that makes sense. 3 into 6 twice, and that's a 0, so I can just go to the next one. 3 into 3 once, and that's perfect. So I'll just go to the 7, bring up that decimal. 3 into 7, twice. Now that leaves me with 1, so I'm going to put a 1. I know I'm doing this super shorthand, but at your level, you should be able to do it in shorthand. 3 into 15, 5. So those guys should get $21.25 each, which is more than $12, right? When that makes sense, because there's less people, they should get more. All right. Let me erase this because I need this as workspace. All right. B. A piano that is marked $5,225 was on sale for 15% discount. Find the amount of the discount and the amount of the final sale. So they want you to do both. All right, so the best way to do that, if they want both, is just to find the discount first and subtract that from the total. All right? If they just wanted the total, guys, we would figure out, well, we would say, well, if they're getting 15% off, how much of it do they have to pay out of the 100%? They have to do 85%, right? So then you could do 5,225 times 85%, but that's not what they're asking in this problem. They want to know the discount first. So we'll take the $5,225 and we'll do it at 0.15. All right, so it looks to me like they have $783.75 off, right? Okay, but this is a two-part question. All right, so we got to take that discount and subtract it from the original price to find the new price. So I'm just going to get rid of everything but the original price. Okay, the beauty of computers here. And now I'm going to put the 700. Make sure you line it up because the $5,225 doesn't have any cents. So you can put 2 zeros there because the other one has 75 cents. And that'll keep it nice and lined up for you. And that way you can see that you have to borrow. So if you have to pause me. And then you can see, that's the best thing to do. Oh. Did you see I wrote plus here? That's not plus, that's subtract. At this point, you do yourself a world of good if you just do it on your own and turn me back on when you're done to see if you and I agree. And just because we don't agree doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong, as you saw in previous lessons. Okay. So hopefully you did this on your own. And if you didn't, look at mine real quick. See what you messed up on. You could even pause it and stare at it. Figure out what you messed up on. That's the best way to learn. I mean, this is almost an opportunity for things to be better for you. Because you have, you're on your own. You don't have the pressure of keeping up with the classroom or your classmates. And you're like getting this lesson from your teacher and she's gone too fast. You can just like hit pause and you can figure it out. But yet you have the answers in front of you a lot with me doing it with you. So you can know right away whether you're getting it right or not. So if this subtraction problem, for instance, you messed up somewhere, pause it. Look at what I did and look at yours. Figure out what you messed up and then fix it. Okay? If you're not lazy and you go for it like that, you are helping yourself so much and using not a great situation and letting the Lord use it for good, right? Okay, I'm done preaching. Next one. I just want you guys to be smart because you can do this. All right, C. Mr. Wheeler bought a used car for $5,000 and he sold the car for $6,000. What is his percent of gain? Well, first of all, what is his gain? In dollars, if he bought it for $5,000 and he got $6,000, right? He earned $1,000 on it. That's a pretty good profit, right? Let's find out his percent. So whenever you do percent of increase or percent of decrease, you always subtract the two, which we already did in our head. It was so easy. we have a $1,000 difference. And you always divide it by what? The original price. Whether it was the bigger one or the smaller one, you always do the first one, which was 5,000. At this point, we would reduce, which we just get rid of our zeros, and we have 1/5. And do you remember what 1/5 is as a percent? Is that what you said? All right. The band was allowed to keep 2/3 of the money from the sale of tickets at the band concert. The total sale of the tickets was $810. So how much money were they allowed to keep? Well, they were just allowed to keep 2/3 of it, right? Well, what does of mean? Times, right? So just do 810. This is an easy one, times 2/3. And we are in luck because 8 plus 1 is 9. So 3 is going to go into 810. 3 goes into 8 2 times with what? 2 left over. And then 3 goes into 21 7 times with nothing left over. So then just bring up that 0. And this will be a 1. At this point, I have 270 times 2. Those of you who can do it, just double 270. Double 200, 400. Double 70, 140. What's 400 plus 140? 540. Good job. Okay? Anything you can do in your head? Man, do it. Mental math. All right, how many yards are in 1/4 of a mile? All right. Oh, we got to know those big old numbers, don't we? Isn't that, oh, I don't have to do this one with you. How perfect is that? But isn't it 1,776? What is it? 1776? Is that how many yards are in a mile? Yeah, I think I'm right. Anyway. All right. I don't have to do that one with you. Lucky me. That's your extra credit. Okay. Well, it's 5,280 feet, right? Or in a mile. And then it's 1,776 yards in a mile. And if I can't remember, I could just divide 5,280 divided by 3. And I'm going to know in a minute. It's sure looking like it, isn't it? No, that's not going to work. Oh, it was 60. That's what it is. 1,760. There we go. Okay, I remember now. Yep, clear as mud, right? You need to have those memorized. Okay. These are easy. And just use your formulas. Let me go to the back. Let me work these story problems with you, and then we'll be done. Oh, I'm using red these days, aren't I? Okay, here we go. The perimeter of an equilateral triangle is 18 feet. So what is the length of one side? Well, just remember, an equilateral triangle has 3 equal sides. This one looks more isosceles and equilateral, but it's got 3 equal sides. It'll show you with these tick marks. They all have all the same angles. But if the whole thing is 18 and there's 3 sides, you just have to divide that by 18. And that tells us that each side is 6 feet. It's pretty easy. Marcus paid $12 for a basketball that was 25% off what was the regular price of the ball. All right. So, this is how I set up this problem. If I'm like, oh, where do I go with this? Which I'm always doing. Okay, so $12 is his total cost, right? So $12 is 25% of some number. And so at that point, I see that I can do 12, I'm doing this at the bottom, divided by 25.25. And then I move that decimal over twice, move this over twice, it becomes 1,200. 25 goes into 120 just 4 times. and that's 100. I'm left with 20. Bring down that other 0. 25 goes into 200 8 times. So now I know that the original price of the ball was $48. Pretty cool the way you can do that. Okay. All right. One of the two congruent angles in an isosceles triangle is 75 degrees. So how many degrees are each of the other two? So remember, isosceles has two. Let's say these two are the same, right here and right here, and then this one would be different. Okay? So if this angle right here is 75, and this angle right here is 75, then what is the third one? Well, do you remember the total degrees of an angle? 180. Okay? So if we know two of them, because it said one of the two congruent sides, so that means the other one has to be the same because they're congruent. So two 175s is 150, right? Or no, two 75s is 150. Well, if I subtract 150 out of 180, how many degrees do I have left? You get 30. Yep. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm doing the wrong lesson again. Oh, you know what it is? These pictures are back, like the back one's done first. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, here I go again. I'm so tired. Okay. Well, you'll know those for next time, right? Okay. 6 centigrams is how many milligrams? Okay, and I started this before, and you already know that this was 60 because it was one step. I'm not going to do it again. So 12 square feet is how many square yards? Remember we did 12. This is where I realized that I was doing the wrong lesson. So this is 12 out of 9 square feet equals a square yard. Because 3 times 3, 3 feet equals a yard. So 3 square feet is 3 times 3 equals 1 square yard. So at this point, this is 12 divided by 9. To make life easy, whenever you can reduce a fraction, you should, and make it 4 over 3. And at that point, I can see easily that that is 1 1/3. Okay? Centimeters to millimeters, once again, just like centigrams to milligrams up top, we are moving one step from a larger to a smaller. So we're going to multiply one step. And whenever you have a decimal, if you have 1.5 and you're multiplying by 10, because it's one step, you can just move the decimal over once and make 1.5 15. 19 ounces is how many pounds? Ounces to pounds is smaller to larger. So 19 over how many ounces in a pound? 16. That cannot be reduced. 16 will go into 19 one time with 3 left over. .3 deciliters is how many milliliters? Now this is quite a jump. So let me put liter in the center. We have deca, hecto, and I know I really abbreviate here, but hopefully by now you know what I'm doing. Then we have deci, centi, and milli. Remember, there's 10 between each one. If I'm starting at deca and I'm going down to milli, I'm doing larger to smaller, so I'm multiplying. Question is how many steps? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not how many words, how many steps. Don't go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be wrong. Make steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can say that's 4 zeros. Or in this case, I've got to move the decimal over once. So I have 9.3. So the first of the 4 would be this. And then at that point, 1, 2, 3, I'm just adding 3 more zeros. So what was 9.3 is now 93,000. Okay? 24 days is how many hours? Well, that's days to hours. 24 days, we're going to multiply smaller, larger to smaller. How many hours in a day? 24. So let's just multiply. I'll do it with you. And maybe I'll get it right and we'll all be on our way. What'd you get? Did you get what I got? That's good, because this time I'm right. Okay. 144 square feet is how many square inches is how many square feet. All right, smaller to larger, divide. Great, you know these old tricks, you can go so fast. So I'm going to make what looks like a fraction, which just means divide. 144 divided by, how many square inches are in a square foot? Well, there's 12 inches in a foot. So 12 times 12, you're squaring it to get a square foot. 12 times 12 is 144. What's 144 divided by 144? 1. All right. Quarts to pecks. Oh no, here comes our family favorite. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to remember this, April. There's 8 quarts in 1 peck, right? Shake your head yes. No, I think I'm right. And then there's 4 pecks in each bushel. Did we get it? So quarts to pecks is smaller to larger. So it's going to be 24 divided by the 8. And that's pretty simple. All right, 3 gallons is how many pints? Gallons to pints, larger to smaller. There's 8 pints in a gallon. There's 4 quarts in a gallon and 8 pints because there's 2 pints in each quart. So it's going to be 3 times 8, which is 24. All right, leave you on your own. Don't forget this right down here, H. It's 0.015. Just don't want you to do that wrong. And then look at F. F, real quick, what are we going to do first? I wish I could hear you. Did you say square the 3? Oh, I hope so. So you're going to square the 3, which is 9, and then times by 5. At this point, what do I do first? Do I do 6 plus 9 or 9 times 5? Did you say 9 times 5? I hope you did. That's 45. And then you'll add it to the 6. Okay? All right. I'm going to stop. I got to stop. I'll keep doing it. I'll do the whole lesson. Wouldn't you love that? Bye, guys. See you later.